What is up? Welcome into the channel. Really appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate the support. Over 225 subscribers now. Wanted to talk about a video. I was surprised. Dama, who I'm a big fan of. Dama collects cards on YouTube. Great content creator. Does a lot of fun stuff. I popped up in his video that was mocking August investment videos. I did an August investment video that he was mocking and you know, talking about, and he said no disrespect and all that stuff. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate, honestly, anyone trying to be critical, because I think criticism invites growth. It's an opportunity to grow, opportunity to learn. So I'm here for that. Absolutely. Always have been in everything I do. And again, I really respect what he does on his channel, and anyone out there that's creating original content. Hats off to you. He does some great things in his space, no question about it. And I have nothing negative to say about him. Like, I'm not going to sit here and laugh or belittle any of his takes or anyone else's takes on YouTube, because I know it does take a lot of guts to get on here and do your thing and share your journey, share your thoughts about Pokemon, about anything. It absolutely does. But I did want to talk about a couple of the things that he pointed out that I just straight up disagree with, right? He kind of laughed at the idea in investing in something now, August 2024, for future growth, you know, several years down the road. That's like literally what investing is by definition, you know, at least in my opinion. You know, you put some money into something, you're hoping that in some period of time, usually several years, that investment grows and that it grows substantially. By definition, that's long-term investing. That's what I've talked about in these monthly investing videos. And these are investments that I'm making. The market has dictated that if you buy low on a Pokemon booster box and you give it time, you will see substantial growth. The market has dictated that for years. And so that's kind of how I look at it. And anything that I talk about investing in is something that I'm actively investing in, right? Something that I'm actively putting money into with the expectation that in several years, that investment will pay off. This is not talking about quick flipping or anything like that. That's just not what I've talked about in these videos. So I think the idea that talking about something that could be a big steal in several years on an investing video is very reasonable. Absolutely. And, you know, suggests that I'm new to the hobby. I'm not new to the hobby. Yes, I did just start my channel, which, you know, took some courage in my opinion. You know, not a lot of folks really understand an adult being into Pokemon, but I have been into Pokemon since 1998 when I started collecting cards, playing every single version of the Pokemon game, popping in and out of playing TCG, you know, certainly. Calling me a noob, who cares? Not really important at all, but also not true. Certainly new to the YouTube space in Pokemon. I absolutely am. I do appreciate you tuning into the video. If y'all enjoy the content here, please consider subscribing. But he also says that anything, $80 to $100, any card could be a good investment over the next half decade. That's also simply not true. There are older sets than the ones that I've talked about on my channel that have plateaued. There are sets that will plateau, making them lesser buys than some of the stuff that we've talked about. Stuff where you can buy low, it's a popular set, and then you can sell high, again, years down the road. I don't think that there's anything wrong with approaching it that way. And the way I look at it is, I want to collect my Pokemon cards. I want to be able to do that sustainably and potentially make some cash down the road. If that's wrong, you know, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not doing massive buyouts. I'm buying a few booster boxes here and there, putting them on the shelf and waiting. I don't think that's a big deal. And talking about the Scarlet and Violet booster boxes that, again, he kind of mockingly laughed at the idea that buying a Scarlet and Violet booster box is an investment. Buying that, or buying Crown Zenith for that matter, once you can no longer get those items retail, and I know he knows all this, they will at the very least go back up to MSRP. If you're buying a booster box at $100 and MSRP is on $160, that's probably a pretty good buy. I mean, it's not hard to figure that out long term. And I know he understands that. And he's mocking the idea of the time that it's going to take for that investment to hit. But I mean, to me, that is investing. That's long term investing. So that's kind of how I look at it. But if you buy a set that has already peaked, again, you can plateau. You can even lose your money. Good bit of it. So there's plenty of sets I would not recommend going in on. That's not what we talk about. I talk about going in on some sets that I think do have very good opportunity for future growth. And there's a difference between talking about collecting and investing. We talk about both on the channel, and every time I talk about something, I make it clear what I'm talking about, whether it's investing or collecting. If you're talking about collecting, just go get whatever you want, like whatever you really like and value. That's what it's all about. And obviously you don't want to blow all your money, but if you have the means to go collect, by all means, go get what you want. I've certainly done that with some sets where I might like it more than the general public does. And so I go get what I want, or specific cards as well. Also says, mockingly that every ETB that's sitting at like $40 would be a good investment. I know he was mocking the idea of that, but that's actually not wrong. Like, again, investing is not quick flipping, but those ETBs probably will rise in value. Now, especially when you talk about special set ETBs. Outside of Shrouded Fable, I don't think that that's necessarily going to do great long term. I'm sure it will have growth, but I think that the rest of the special set ETBs that you look at over the last few years probably will do pretty well, most of them. I think that Paldean Fates, obviously Crown Zenith, these are sets that are popular. These are sets, I know Paldean Fates has some detractors, but I think it's a strong set. You'd certainly have some great chase cards at the top. I like the shinies. I think that long term, getting in at that low point right now is going to be a good play. So again, we're just looking at this from opposite lenses, I guess, because I don't know how you could sit here and say that investing in that long term is not a good play. He also questions my credibility after that, which, whatever, fine, not a big deal. But to say that there's no basis behind some of the things I'm saying, to say that, you wouldn't trust my credibility, and then to say that maybe if you're going to talk about investments for a specific month, maybe talk about some cards that you could see growth in the next 2 to 3 months, so your audience could have a little bit more trust in what you're saying, trust in you giving advice. Which, by the way, I always tell you, this is what I'm doing. This is me sharing my journey, sharing what I'm doing. You can take it or leave it, right? But honestly, if I sat here and told you to go invest in these things that are going to see great growth in the next 2 to 3 months, that's literally the definition of not being credible, in my opinion. Because what I'm trying to do is make plays that are going to win long term, right? If I'm telling you every single month, let's go get these things that are going to be good in 2 to 3 months, that are going to see great growth in the next 2 to 3 months, that's not legitimate, right? I can't do that. That's not really what investing is for me. That's kind of like trying to get in and quick flip. Making a 2 to 3 month play in the Pokemon market, it's risky. Again, it's short term, which we don't talk about. It's volatile. And I'm not going to recommend that people do that. I'm just not going to do it. You certainly can make money by selling singles that you already have. You can make money by grading cards. Certainly, the more cards you grade, if you're grading cards that, can 2, 3, 4, 5x when they're graded versus non-graded, if you get a PSA 10, yeah, you can absolutely do that as well. And you can make some quick money doing that. You can make money right now buying Silver Tempest and flipping it. You can buy it on Pokemon Center for $143. You can go flip it, make a buck, right? You can certainly do these things, right? You can also go in on some cheap card that you think is undervalued. I've done that with Infernape and it worked, right? So yeah, there are things you can do, but to me, those are not investing. That's just talking about, making some money while kind of pursuing your interest within the hobby. I've also said this a ton, but unless you're trying to make this a legitimate business, legitimate side hustle, do not overspend. Do not go into debt to pursue your Pokemon interests, right? I'm not trying to recommend that anybody be reckless or irresponsible with their money. If you have some money and time to wait, buying some of these booster boxes is probably a good idea. And I've been as transparent as possible with what I'm doing with all my content. And finally, I just want to say, as I have throughout all my videos, I'm doing this to share my journey. I'm doing this to share my thoughts with like-minded people. I think that that's what everyone should be doing inside of the Pokemon community, inside of the hobby. That's certainly what I'm here for. And I really appreciate all of y'all. I appreciate Dama for what he does. Does a great job talking about Pokemon, doing his streams, doing giveaways. I love it. I love his content. I just don't think that we're quite seeing eye to eye with some of the things that he talked about in my video, and that's fine. He doesn't like investor bros. There's been several videos about that. I don't consider myself an investor bro. Most of my videos are about collecting, analyzing sets, all that good stuff. But I will do my best to keep pumping out good quality content that like-minded folks enjoy and appreciate. And I know that Dama will do the same thing. And I think he will continue to do a great job producing content. I just happen to disagree with a few of the things that he said in that criticism video, but I do appreciate him trying to hold people accountable and trying to continue to grow this community, because I think that is what it's all about in the end. And I'd love to chat with him in the future, congenially, if that situation ever arises. But I really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content here, please consider subscribing. You can hit that like button as well. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Y'all have a good one.